The stars shimmered quietly against the vast canvas of space, but aboard Earth's flagship, the Valor, tension crackled like static electricity. Admiral Rhea Cole stood on the bridge, her sharp eyes scanning the view screen as the fleet aligned itself for the mission ahead. Thousands of ships from Earth's unified space forces orbited in tight formation, a symbol of humanity's resilience and ambition. This was more than a fleet, it was a statement. For decades, humanity had grown from isolated colonies into a powerful force. The Galactic Coalition, a sprawling alliance of alien civilizations, had long eyed Earth warily. Now, after years of cautious diplomacy, the Coalition had called for a peace summit. Earth's leaders saw this as an opportunity to secure their place in the galaxy, to forge alliances and end hostilities that threatened their future. Admiral Cole had been chosen to lead the fleet because of her unwavering dedication and tactical brilliance. She carried the weight of millions of lives and the hopes of an entire planet on her shoulders. The mission was clear: escort the diplomats to the Coalition space station at the edge of the system, ensure their safety, and prepare for negotiations. That could change everything. Yet, beneath the surface of confidence, unease stirred. Whispers had reached the Valor. Intelligence reports hinted at strange communications intercepted within their own ranks. Unidentified transmissions, brief and encrypted, suggested a presence that didn't belong, a shadow moving among their own. But no one had concrete proof. Cole's second in command, Commander Tarek Min, approached quietly. Admiral, the fleet is ready. Weapons systems are on standby, but the diplomats insist on minimal force. They want this to be a demonstration of trust. Rhea nodded, her gaze distant but steady. Trust is earned, Commander, and sometimes it must be defended. The fleet slipped through the blackness, silent but formidable. Each ship was equipped with the latest Earth-made technology, energy shields, advanced AI targeting, and stealth capabilities unmatched anywhere in the known galaxy. Earth's engineers had poured every resource into preparing for this mission, hoping to show strength without aggression. As they neared the Coalition station, the sprawling, angular construct orbiting a barren moon, sensors picked up unusual activity. Small craft moved erratically near the perimeter, scanning the fleet with aggressive patterns. Possible interceptors, Tarek reported, but no weapons drawn. Rhea's eyes narrowed. Maintain formation, no sudden moves. We are guests, but not prey. Inside the diplomatic quarters, tension mingled with hope. Ambassador Leora Venn prepared her team, aware that this summit carried risks no one fully understood. Her briefings were thorough warnings about the Coalition's internal divisions, rumors of factions unhappy with Earth's rise, and the delicate balance of power at stake. The fleet entered the station's docking perimeter, sleek and precise. Communication channels opened, and a Coalition representative greeted them with formal pleasantries. But beneath the surface, a different plan unfolded. Late that night, as Earth's officers reviewed mission protocols and diplomats rested, a coded signal pulsed through the Valor's systems. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but unmistakably from inside. Commander Min's fingers flew over the console, tracing the source, a hidden node buried deep within the fleet's communication array. Admiral, he said, voice low, someone inside is sending information to an unknown recipient. Rhea's heart tightened. Trace it. Find out who. Minutes stretched like hours as the investigation uncovered fragments of messages, encrypted and masked. Then came the shocking revelation: one of their own, a trusted officer embedded deep within the fleet, was the source. Betrayal had taken root where none expected. The fleet's hard-earned trust fractured in a heartbeat. Admiral Cole called an emergency meeting. We are on the brink of war. But we face a threat worse than any external enemy, the enemy within. We must be vigilant, prepared. United, the coming hours will test us all. Outside the Valor, the stars gleamed coldly, and somewhere in the shadows, the betrayer smiled, ready to unleash chaos that would shake Earth to its core. The warning came too late. Just as Earth's fleet moved deeper into Coalition space, the betrayer's plan unfolded with ruthless precision. In the dimly lit operations room aboard the Valor, alarms blared and red lights bathed the room. Admiral Rhea Cole's eyes snapped to the tactical display, where the fleet's formation was suddenly disrupted. Enemy ships, once hidden behind asteroid clusters, surged forward like a tidal wave. It's a trap, Commander Min said grimly. They knew exactly where we'd be. The truth settled over the crew like a cold fog. The trusted officer had fed the Coalition detailed fleet positions and movements. Earth's forces, caught off guard, faced an ambush the likes of which they had only feared in nightmares. Outside, the void exploded with fire and fury. Explosive blasts tore through Earth's ships. The Valor shook violently as nearby vessels were struck down. Communications went dark in several sectors. Panic threatened to spread, but Cole's voice cut through the chaos, steady and commanding. All hands, battle stations. Focus on defense and regroup. Protect the diplomats at all costs. But the damage was severe. The Coalition's forces overwhelmed the fleet's outer defenses, pushing Earth's ships into desperate maneuvers. A small squadron led by Lieutenant Jaya Kim fought valiantly to shield the diplomats' transport, weaving through debris and enemy fire. Hold the line, Jaya shouted over the comms, her ship's shields flaring under the barrage. Yet the betrayal's cost was clear. Dozens of ships were lost, their crews lost to the cold void. The survivors retreated toward a prearranged fallback point, battered but unbroken. Back on the Valor, the scene was grim. Admiral Cole paced the bridge, the weight of command pressing down on her. The diplomatic mission was ruined, but the true casualty was trust. Find the betrayer, she ordered. We cannot win this war divided. Security teams sealed off sensitive areas, interrogations began, and systems were scanned for further sabotage. Meanwhile, the fleet's leadership coordinated a withdrawal to Earth's defense perimeter. The diplomats, shaken but resolute, gathered in a secure conference room. Ambassador Leora Ven's voice trembled slightly, but carried determination. This betrayal was meant to crush us. Instead, it has shown us the true face of our enemies. We will not bow. Far from Earth, the Coalition celebrated the apparent victory, but their leaders underestimated human resilience. The betrayal, though catastrophic, had ignited a fire within Earth's fleet. At population, news of the ambush spread quickly, galvanizing support across every colony and city. In the depths of Earth's orbital base, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly. Advanced weapon systems were designed and tested. AI programs were enhanced with lessons learned from the attack. Ships were repaired and refitted with new defensive capabilities. Admiral Cole oversaw every detail, her resolve burning brighter than ever. We will rise from this, she told her officers, not just to fight back, but to end this threat once and for all. Among the fleet's survivors, camaraderie deepened. Lieutenant Jaya Kim sat with her fellow pilots, eyes fixed on the starry horizon visible through the station's viewport. We lost so much, she said quietly, but I believe we're stronger now. They betrayed us, but they didn't break us. Her friend and co-pilot, Reen, nodded. This isn't just revenge. It's survival and justice. Yet the betrayer's shadow lingered. Security teams uncovered encrypted files hinting at deeper conspiracies, possible sleeper agents scattered across the fleet and Earth's colonies. The fight ahead was not just against external enemies, but the hidden traitors still at large. Admiral Cole knew the battle was far from over. The fleet's scars were fresh, but so was their resolve. We will hunt down every last betrayer, she vowed, and when the time comes, we will show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. Outside the station, the stars burned silently. The ambush had been brutal and costly, but Earth's fleet, betrayed and battered, was only just beginning its fight back. Earth's orbital base was a hive of activity. The steady hum of machinery and the sharp clicks of keyboard commands filled the air as engineers and scientists worked around the clock. The scars left by the ambush were still fresh, visible in the battle-worn hulls of ships docked for repair. But the spirit of humanity inside the station was far from broken. Admiral Rhea Cole moved through the corridors with purpose. Her uniform bore the marks of countless battles, but her eyes burned with renewed determination. The fleet may have been betrayed and shattered, but Earth itself was a fortress no enemy could easily conquer. Status report, she asked as she entered the main engineering bay, where Chief Engineer Leon Zhao was coordinating repairs on a cruiser's damaged energy core. Repairs are progressing faster than expected, Leon replied, wiping sweat from his brow. We're integrating new defensive systems designed to counter the Coalition's tactics. The fleet will be stronger and more resilient. Rhea nodded. Good. We need every advantage if we're going to take the fight back to them. The betrayal had been a blow not only to Earth's military strength, but also to its trust. Somewhere within their ranks had been a traitor, a wolf in human clothing. The fear of another betrayal lurked in every shadow, making every handshake and every order carry an extra weight. To combat this, Admiral Cole authorized a complete overhaul of security protocols. Advanced AI algorithms were deployed to monitor communications and detect any unusual activity. Background checks were intensified, and every crew member was reminded of their duty to the fleet and the planet they called home. Meanwhile, in the war room, strategists gathered around holographic displays, plotting the next move. Commander Tariq Min pointed to a three-dimensional map dotted with enemy outposts and supply routes. The Coalition's hold on this sector is strong, but fractured. Their trust in their own commanders is shaky after our attack. We can exploit that. Ambassador Leora Venn, ever the diplomat, added, "We must be careful. A reckless strike could push neutral factions away or provoke further escalation. We need precision and strategy, not just brute force." Admiral Cole weighed their words carefully. The goal was not only revenge, it was survival and a chance to secure peace. But peace, she knew, could only be forged from strength. We'll rebuild the fleet, train new pilots, and develop technologies to outmatch our enemies, she declared. And we'll remind the galaxy that humanity's resolve is not so easily broken. Beyond the base, Earth itself was transforming. News of the betrayal and the fleet's near destruction spread quickly through every city and settlement. Instead of despair, the people responded with solidarity. Volunteer groups formed to support families of lost crew members, while engineers and scientists accelerated research and production of advanced weaponry. Children watched news feeds with wide eyes, inspired by stories of bravery and resilience. Schools introduced new curricula focused on space science and tactics, preparing the next generation to defend their world. In a quiet observatory, Dr. Maya Patel studied data from the fleet's sensors and the Coalition's technology. Her team was developing a new kind of energy shield that could adapt in real time to enemy attacks. A breakthrough that could turn the tide of future battles. Humanity is evolving, Maya said to her assistant. We're learning not just to survive, but to thrive under pressure. As weeks turned into months, Earth's fleet slowly returned to strength. The fleet's flagship, Valor, received upgrades that made it more than a sim. It became a fortress. Admiral Cole stood on the bridge once more, surrounded by new officers and veterans alike. The memory of betrayal was still a shadow, but their resolve shone brighter. We will take back what was stolen, she promised. Our enemies will learn that Earth's spirit is unbreakable. From these ashes, we will rise stronger than ever. Outside, the stars awaited their return to war, this time on Earth's terms. The silence of space often concealed the most unexpected alliances. As Earth's fleet rebuilt itself after the devastating betrayal, whispers of a mysterious presence began to circulate among intelligence circles. A species unknown to most humans, long thought to be neutral or even indifferent to the galactic conflicts, had quietly observed Earth's plight and decided to act. The arrival was sudden. In the depths of space near Earth's orbital base, a sleek vessel appeared, unlike any known design. Its shimmering hull reflected the starlight in shifting colors, and its movements were graceful, almost effortless. It was a message, a sign that Earth was not alone. Admiral Rhea Cole watched the vessel's approach with cautious curiosity. Communications officers scrambled to establish contact, and after tense moments, a holographic figure emerged, a representative of the Zephyrins, a reclusive alien race with advanced technology and a history of avoiding entanglements. We have observed your struggle, the Zephyrin envoy said, voice calm but firm. Your resilience has impressed us. We offer aid not out of obligation, but from recognition of your potential. Skepticism rippled through the fleet's command, but Admiral Cole sensed sincerity. The Zephyrins had their own reasons for opposing the betrayers, whose ambitions threatened the balance of power. Your timing is fortuitous, Cole replied. We welcome allies who share our vision for peace and strength. What can you offer? The answer was technology and knowledge. The Zephyrins shared advanced defensive systems, energy modulation techniques, and tactical algorithms that surpassed Earth's current capabilities. They also provided intelligence on the betrayers' internal divisions and vulnerabilities. Training began immediately. Earth's pilots and engineers worked alongside Zephyrin specialists, exchanging ideas and strategies. It was not always easy. Cultural differences and communication challenges tested patience, but the shared goal forged a bond. Lieutenant Jaya Kim, one of Earth's top pilots, found herself learning new flight maneuvers that defied conventional physics, taught by a Zephyrin. Ace, their agility is incredible, she said. They think about combat in ways we never imagined. In the engineering bays, Chief Engineer Leon Zhao marveled at Zephyrin designs that incorporated self-healing materials and adaptive shielding. This will change everything, he said. We're not just rebuilding, we're evolving. The Alliance has strategic impact. Using Zephyrin data, Earth's commanders identified weak points in the Betrayer's network, supply lines vulnerable to disruption and command centers suffering from distrust among their leaders. Coordinated strikes could cripple the enemy without reckless losses. Ambassador Leora Ven cautioned diplomacy. We must not forget that this alliance is new. Our galaxy is a delicate web. We need to build trust carefully. Admiral Cole agreed. Trust is earned through action. Together, we will show the betrayers that betrayal cannot stand against unity. Meanwhile, Earth's enemies felt the shift. Rumors spread through the coalition of Earth's new allies and technologies. Some factions feared that their advantage was slipping away. Paranoia grew, further fracturing the betrayers' ranks on a darkened bridge far from Earth. A coalition commander muttered, "If Earth rises with Zephyrin aid, our grip on the system will crumble. We must act swiftly," but internal quarrels delayed decisive action. The betrayers were battling enemies within as much as without. Back on Earth, hope flourished. Communities rallied around the news of the Alliance. And morale soared. Children watched Zephyrin ships on broadcasts, imagining a future where humans and aliens stood side by side. Admiral Cole reflected on the change. This is not just about technology or firepower, she told her officers. It's about trust, cooperation, and the strength that comes from standing together even with those we once considered strangers. The fleet, once shattered and betrayed, now glowed with renewed purpose. With unseen allies at their side, humanity was ready to face the storm ahead. The battle for survival had entered a new phase. The stars beyond Earth's command center flickered with distant light, but the mood inside was electric with resolve. Months of rebuilding, training, and alliance building had prepared the fleet for this moment. The devastating ambush was no longer a mark of defeat, it was the spark that ignited Earth's relentless counterstrike. Admiral Rhea Cole stood before the fleet's command officers, her voice calm but filled with unshakable determination. "We have the advantage now," she said, eyes scanning the room. "The betrayers are fractured, their supply lines exposed, and their trust in each other broken. It's time to hit them where it hurts." The plan was precise. Instead of a head-on assault, the fleet would use surgical strikes to dismantle the enemy's infrastructure, communications hubs, fuel depots, and transportation corridors. Each strike would weaken the betrayers' ability to coordinate, forcing them into disarray. Commander Tarek Min mapped the operation in holographic detail. "We'll divide our forces into rapid response teams. Zephyrin support units will provide electronic warfare and adaptive shielding. Our pilots are ready, Lieutenant." Jaya Kim checked her ship's systems, her hands steady on the controls. "We've trained for this. We know what to expect." The first strike was swift and devastating. Under the cover of a star cluster's shadow, Earth's stealth cruisers slipped through enemy patrols and launched precision attacks on a key communication satellite. Explosions rippled through the network, severing command links across multiple sectors simultaneously. Fighter squadrons disrupted supply convoys, forcing enemy ships into chaotic retreats. The coalition's forces scrambled to respond, but Earth's coordination and technology outmatched their reaction times. News of the attack spread quickly through enemy ranks, sowing panic and confusion. Back on the Valor, Admiral Cole monitored the progress with a mixture of satisfaction and vigilance. "We must keep pressure on their vulnerabilities," she instructed. "Each strike is a message they betrayed us, and we will dismantle their power piece by piece." The fleet moved with relentless precision, hitting targets identified through Zephyrin intelligence. They targeted fuel refineries critical to enemy ships, collapsing hangars housing elite troops, and encryption servers that protected strategic plans. Each victory was hard-fought, but exact. Earth's forces avoided unnecessary destruction of civilian areas, focusing instead on crippling the betrayer's war machine. Meanwhile, Ambassador Leora Ven worked tirelessly on diplomatic channels, reaching out to neutral systems affected by the conflict. "We need to build a coalition of trust," she said during a transmission. "If we can show that Earth fights with honor and precision, others will join us or at least withdraw support from the betrayers." Her efforts began to bear fruit. Several minor systems declared neutrality or offered supplies and intelligence, tipping the balance further in Earth's favor. But the betrayers would not yield quietly. Desperate and cornered, They launched counterattacks aimed at Earth's supply lines and outposts. Battles flared across asteroid belts and moon bases, testing the fleet's resilience. During one intense skirmish, Lieutenant Jaya Kim's squadron intercepted an ambush aimed at a supply convoy. Despite overwhelming odds, her pilots held their ground, using the new Zephyrin tactics to outmaneuver enemy fighters. After the battle, Jaya reported, "They're panicked, but still dangerous. We have to stay sharp." The counter-strike revealed more than just enemy weaknesses. It uncovered hidden sleeper agents and sabotage attempts within the betrayer's own ranks, intensifying the coalition's internal strife. Admiral Cole's intelligence teams exploited this division, feeding misinformation and stirring distrust among enemy leaders. "This is psychological warfare," she explained. "Divide and conquer." As the campaign progressed, Earth's fleet reclaimed lost territory and secured strategic footholds. Every victory strengthened the resolve of human forces, and their Zephyrin allies died at a celebration held aboard the orbital base. Rhea raised a toast with her officers. "To those we lost, to the strength we've gained, and to the future we will build together." The fleet's journey from betrayal to vengeance was far from over, but the tide had unmistakably turned. The ongoing counter-strike was proving effective, but Earth's fleet knew the betrayers still had cards to play, hidden plans and dangerous weapons that could turn the tide again. To prepare, Admiral Cole authorized a special task force to investigate intelligence reports suggesting the existence of a secret weapon under development. Deep within an abandoned asteroid field, away from prying eyes, lay an enemy installation cloaked and heavily guarded. The betrayer's leaders had placed great importance on the facility, believing it would secure their dominance once complete. But no one had counted on Earth's relentless pursuit. Lieutenant Jaya Kim led the task force, her squadron approaching the installation under the cover of darkness. The Zephyrin ships flanked them, their adaptive shields shimmering to confuse enemy sensors. Stealth protocols engaged. Jaya confirmed, "We're ghosts until the strike." Inside the command center aboard Valor, Admiral Cole coordinated with engineers and intelligence officers. Satellite scans revealed the complex's layout, power cores, weapons development labs, and data centers filled with encrypted files. "We need to disable their communications and retrieve any data on the weapon," Cole said. "If this falls into the wrong hands, it could mean disaster." The assault was precise. Task force ships penetrated the outer defenses, neutralizing patrol drones and electronic countermeasures. Jaya's fighters weaved through enemy fire, drawing attention away from the boarding teams. Once on the ground, elite operatives infiltrated the facility. Their objective, secure the weapon's core components and download critical data inside the labs. Engineers found evidence of a devastating technology and energy-based weapon capable of wiping out entire fleets in seconds. It relied on rare materials harvested from distant systems, materials the betrayers had hoarded in secret. "This weapon could have ended us all," said one engineer grimly. "We have to destroy it." Meanwhile, intelligence officers hacked through layers of encryption, uncovering more than just technical schematics. They revealed plans for a galaxy-wide coup, implicating not only the betrayers, but several high-ranking officials across multiple star systems. The betrayal ran deeper than anyone had suspected. Admiral Cole's expression hardened. "This war isn't just about Earth. It's about a corrupt system that thrives on fear and control. We have to expose this." She immediately authorized the release of the files through secure channels to allied governments and neutral factions, hoping to fracture the enemy's alliances further. Back on Earth, the revelation stirred both hope and caution. Public broadcasts showed images of the secret facility's destruction and detailed the corrupt coalition network. Citizens rallied behind the fleet, while many in the galaxy reconsidered their loyalties. Ambassador Leora Vence spearheaded diplomatic efforts to leverage the scandal, negotiating treaties with hesitant systems and securing vital support. "Our fight is now a symbol of justice," she said. "We're not just defending Earth, we're defending the freedom of all." But the betrayers were not defeated yet. In desperation, they unleashed propaganda accusing Earth of sabotage and war crimes, attempting to sway public opinion in their favor. The war of information intensified, each side using every resource to influence the galaxy's perception. Admiral Cole understood the stakes. Truth is our weapon now. We must remain transparent and relentless as Earth's fleet prepared for the next phase. The discovery of the secret weapon and the coalition's corruption became a rallying cry. Every victory was a step toward dismantling a broken order. Lieutenant Jaya Kim reflected on the mission. We faced betrayal and loss, but we uncovered the darkness at their core. Now, it's time to finish this. Outside the command center, stars glittered cold and distant. The galaxy watched, waiting for the final moves in a conflict that would decide the fate of countless worlds. Earth's fleet, forged in fire and betrayal, stood ready to bring the fight home. The calm before the storm stretched across the void like a held breath. Earth's fleet had grown stronger, their resolve hardened by betrayal, loss, and discovery. With the secret weapon destroyed and the Coalition's corruption exposed, the time had come for the final push, a decisive strike that would end the war. Admiral Rhea Cole stood on the bridge of the Valor, her gaze fixed on the holographic map displaying the enemy's stronghold. This was the heart of the Betrayer's power, a heavily fortified space station, orbiting a resource-rich planet critical to their fleet's supplies and operations. Their last refuge, she said quietly. If we take this, the war is over, Commander. Tariq Min nodded, his eyes sharp with determination. All units are ready. Pilots have trained extensively with Zephyrin tactics. Engineers have upgraded our weapons and shields. The fleet is prepared. The fleet gathered in formation, a magnificent sight of Earth's might united with Zephyrin technology. Ships of all sizes gleamed under the stars, their crews aware that this battle would demand everything they had. Lieutenant Jaya Kim checked her fighter systems one last time. This is what we trained for, she told her squadron. Stay sharp, watch each other's backs, and trust in our strength. The fleet moved like a living organism, swift and coordinated, toward the enemy station. As they closed in, enemy ships scrambled to defend the bastion, launching waves of fighters and missile barrages. The battle erupted with a roar of energy weapons and explosions. The Valor led the charge, weaving through fire to deliver critical strikes on the stations. Defenses, Earth's pilots executed maneuvers taught by their Zephyrin allies, exploiting weak points and disrupting enemy formations. The fight was fierce. Losses were taken on both sides, but the tide was turning. Deep within the enemy station, sabotage teams deployed by Earth's fleet infiltrated vital systems. They disabled power grids, communications, and life support modules, turning the station's own defenses against its occupants. Admiral Cole coordinated the assault from the bridge, issuing orders with precision. Focus fire on the main power core. Once that's down, their systems will collapse. As the station's lights flickered and alarms blared, the Betrayer's leaders scrambled to mount a last-ditch defense. The battle was desperate. Their forces fragmented and disorganized in the midst of the chaos. A signal crackled over Earth's comm channels. It's the Betrayer's leader, Ambassador Leora Venn announced, listening intently. They want to negotiate. Admiral Cole considered the offer carefully. No negotiations while their weapons fire on my fleet. Tell them to stand down or face total destruction. The response was silence, followed by renewed attacks. The final moments of the battle were a blur of fire and light. Jaya's squadron broke through enemy fighters to deliver a critical strike on the station's weapon platforms. Explosions ripped through the decks, and the station shuddered under the assault. At last, the main power core erupted in a brilliant cascade of energy, sending shockwaves through the structure. The Betrayer's stronghold was no more. As silence fell over the battlefield, Earth's fleet regrouped. The cost had been high, but victory was undeniable. Admiral Cole addressed her officers and crew, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. This war was born of betrayal, but it ends with our unity and strength. We have faced the darkness and brought it to light. Ambassador Venn added, the galaxy will remember this day not just for the battle, but for what humanity stood for: resilience, justice, and hope. Across the stars, news of the annihilation of the Betrayer's power spread rapidly. Systems, once fearful or neutral, began pledging allegiance to Earth's new coalition. Inspired by their courage and honor, on Earth, celebrations erupted, but the fleet remained vigilant. The scars of betrayal could not be forgotten, but they had forged a future stronger than anyone dared imagine. Lieutenant Jaya Kim looked to the horizon, where the first light of a new day broke over Earth's cities. We survived because we stood together, she said softly, and now we build a future no one can betray. The war was over, but humanity's journey had only just begun. The battle was won, the Betrayer's power shattered, and the fleet had returned to Earth. But victory was never simply about surviving, it was about what came next. As Earth's people emerged from the shadow of betrayal, they faced a future both uncertain and full of promise. Admiral Rhea Cole stood on the observation deck of the orbital base, watching the blue-green planet below. Cities sparkled with life. Rebuilding steadily after years of conflict, the wounds of war were deep, but healing had begun. She thought of the sacrifices made the comrades who would never return, the families torn apart. Their memory was a solemn foundation for the new era. Diplomatic efforts flourished in the aftermath. Ambassador Leora Venn led delegations across the stars, forging alliances born from respect and shared ideals rather than fear or dominance. The coalition that had risen to challenge corruption was now a beacon of hope. We have shown the galaxy the strength of unity, Leora told a gathering of representatives from diverse worlds. Our future depends on cooperation, transparency, and trust. On board the flagship Valor, Lieutenant Jaya Kim prepared for a new mission. The fight may be over, she said to her squadron, but exploration and discovery await. We have a galaxy to understand and protect. Her words capture the spirit of the fleet ever vigilant, always reaching beyond. Technology shared by the Zephyrins transform Earth's capabilities. Renewable energy, advanced medicine, and space. Travel innovation spread rapidly, improving lives and expanding horizons. Chief Engineer Leon Zhao oversaw projects that once seemed impossible, constructing deep space habitats, developing faster-than-light communication, and enhancing planetary defenses from the ashes of war. We are building the future, he said with quiet pride. Yet, caution remained. Earth's leaders established councils to ensure transparency and prevent the kind of corruption that had nearly destroyed them. The lessons of betrayal were etched into policies, education, and culture. Admiral Cole championed these efforts. Strength is not just military might, she said. It is integrity, responsibility, and the courage to face our own flaws. As months turned to years, stories of Earth's resilience inspired generations. Children learned about the dark days of betrayal, but also the light of unity and justice. Museums displayed relics from the war, not to glorify conflict, but to teach vigilance and hope. One evening, as the sun dipped below Earth's horizon, Admiral Cole stood with Ambassador Venn and Lieutenant Kim. Watching the stars emerge, we've come so far, Leora said softly. The galaxy feels different now, more open, more connected. Jaya smiled. And we're ready for whatever comes next, Ria nodded. Because we are not defined by betrayal or war, but by how we rise from them. The future was unwritten. A vast canvas stretching across space and time, but Earth's fleet, forged in the fires of hardship, was ready to meet it with strength, honor, and an unbreakable spirit. In the end, betrayal had been met with more than vengeance. It had been met with hope.